Hi, it's Veronica with the Crafty Oasis. Today I wanted to show you how to make a DIY budget binder. So this one will be made using a recycled cereal box, wallpaper from Dollar Tree, binder spines from Amazon, and then just tools that you have at home. So this is mine. I was inspired by the Posh Paper Lady, and I'll link her video in the description because she showed the process using the binder spines. She didn't use the exact same ones that I have here, but she gave me the idea to look on Amazon, and so I found these. These are for A6 binders, and so they have the 6 holes. You can make this in any size that you'd like as long as you have a spine that works for it. This doesn't have to be used as a budget binder. You can use it for a photo album, you can use it for an address book, you can use it for anything that you'd like. You can gift it to someone for their birthday or Christmas in a few months or any other holiday. So what we'll go ahead and do is get started. And I did want to let you know really quickly that in mine we have budget inserts with categories, and then we have the cash envelopes. Today we're not making the inserts or the cash envelopes. We're only focusing on the structure, the actual cover of the budget binder. So if you want to join a crafty community, be sure to subscribe, and then if you find this video valuable, share and save, and we'll go ahead and get started. Here we have the cut open cap and crunch box. You can also use packaging from, say, a paper cutter or something to that effect. Those types of boxes will be sturdier, but the cereal box does work just fine. And I had already made a few budget binders previously for my students in the budgeting workshop and also just as a trial and error project. So I just traced the open cover of that onto the cardboard, but I will put the dimensions in the description for you. This is an A6 binder, and so it'll fit A6 inserts, and I have a link to the binder rings from Amazon as well. It's a little hard to tell in this part of the video, but I actually traced the cover onto the spine, which is in the center, and it's the original spine from the Cap and Crunch box. And then for the other side of the cover, I trace the one that I'd already made onto the cardboard so it's cut out individually. And then what I do, and you'll see later in the video, is I tape them together because I have to cut off a little bit of the spine so that it's to the width, or more narrow in this case, that I need to accommodate the binder rings and everything. Now we have the two pieces that will serve as the front and back cover cut out, and so you'll see I flipped it over. what I'm going to do first is tape this, which will serve as the front cover once the project is done. So I'm going to just get a piece of tape, and in the video I use multiple pieces of tape, but if you're doing this you can just stretch it so that it's one piece of tape and then do the same on the back. It's up to you, but just add multiple pieces on the front and the back along what will be the seam that connects the spine to the back cover. So we have the spine taped to the cover. Now what I'm going to do is just crease it a little bit so it gets more of that shape. And then next I'm going to add the repositionable wallpaper from Dollar Tree, and they had this really pretty shimmery one when I went. They also had a different one that had birds on it. So each store has a different variety. Some stores may be all sold out because they are pretty popular, I've noticed when I go to find them. I'm not sure if they're online. If they are, I will place a link in the description. But what you'll do is you'll place the wallpaper face down so you see the back of it, and then put the cover cutout in the center. And this wallpaper works perfectly for this project. You have very little waste. And so what I'm going to do is just lightly trace the rectangle for the cover that I cut out, so that when I go to cut the corners off, I have a guide and know that I'm not moving it from the center. Now that we have the cover traced onto the wallpaper, we'll set the cover aside and we'll cut the corners. So notice that I'm not cutting the corners at a right or 90-degree angle. Shout out to the Posh Paper Lady because she's the one who gave all of her viewers this tip, and she creates very professional looking binders, and actually she's the one who gave me the idea to look for binder spines for my DIY budget binder. So I'll actually link one of her videos in the description as well. So you just repeat that for all of the corners. And then the next part is a little bit tricky, honestly, because this is repositionable, but that's really if it's on a wall. If you're trying to do that on cardboard, it's not going to work very well, and you'll see in just a moment that I struggled with it. Honestly, I always struggle with placing something like this because I have dexterity issues sometimes because of an autoimmune condition, and then also it's just so sticky and it adheres very well to the cardboard. So I do struggle with it. I figure it out in the end, and I will share that process with you in a moment, but I wanted to keep the mistakes in here just to show you that nobody's perfect and it's homemade. The nice thing is I was able to take it off and redo it again. So if that happens, just take a deep breath and try to do that. So the method that works best for me when I'm applying something like this vinyl wallpaper is I peel the backing off the corner and then I peel it down a section, not the whole sheet. I do about halfway down, and then this is where I messed up, like I said, but you know what, I was able to fix it. Sometimes in the past when I've used vinyl wrap, I cannot, and then I just end up having to waste it. That happens sometimes. This time I was thankful that it worked out. So I position this in the center, or as close to the center as I can get, because the rectangle was drawn on the other side, but there's no way to actually get it on this part because this is a tacky part. So now I just fold each flap over on that part of the cover. And then again, this is going to be handmade. There's no such thing as perfection. Even things that are mass produced, you'll notice that they have flaws and imperfections all the time. So when you make something handmade, just give yourself grace and just appreciate the process and what you have made with your own two hands and your mind and body. Now we're ready for the inside cover part. You don't have to cover this if you don't want to. I chose to because I have a whole package of printable sticker paper. I use it for marketing, I use it for all kinds of things. So I just cut it down to size so that it fits in the center. And then I did the same technique where I peel the backing halfway off and then I smooth it down with my hand and then flatten it as I go. So it's centered, and this is the inside cover of the budget binder. So now I'm just creasing the spine, and the spine is where the binder rings will go. Now we'll add the spine. So what I'll do is, similar to the way that we traced the cutout cardboard onto the wallpaper, we'll center the spine and then we'll trace it onto the center spine of the budget binder. One of my sons is right here next to me, so we're just kind of laughing at each other. So I very lightly trace the rectangle of the spine, or really just kind of a few edges of it. I don't go all the way around, and then I trace the circle the best that I can. The tip of the pencil doesn't get in there very well, but it leaves enough of a mark that I can see. So next what you'll want to do is add a, is get a tool that you can punch through and make the holes, because this particular binder spine has screws and posts, which I actually really appreciated because, again, the autoimmune condition that I mentioned earlier, it affects my hands among other things in my body, and so sometimes it makes it very difficult to not only grasp but twist. I'll get fatigued if I have to hammer, and the vibrations really bother me. So this one allows you to just screw it in with a regular screwdriver. So I'm showing you the post and the screw the best that I can. I'm not sure how well you can see it. They're very small. They're about the size of a small thumbtack, and then the post part that the screw screws into is even smaller as far as the part that catches the screw. Now, I struggled getting these posts in as well because, again, tight spaces, and then trying to do this with just my hands was really challenging, but eventually got it in there. So the technique that worked the best for me was to anchor the binder spine with one of the screws, and then poke that through the binder spine and then through the actual cover, and then hold that in place with my thumb, and then on the other side screw in the post part, or tighten the post part, because the post part is the piece that has the actual screw head. So I needed a a flathead screwdriver for this. So eventually I did get it. Again, it was a little bit of a struggle, and I kept that in there because I just want people to see the real project. And this video was edited a little bit, but it's almost the full length of time that it took me to actually complete this. So once you have it down, you can do this project in under 30 minutes. Huzzah! We got the last screw in there, so I'm really excited because, again, it was a little bit frustrating. But now our budget binder is complete. You can use this for a budget binder. You can use it for a photo album. You can use it for a mini planner, whatever you'd like to do. Let me know in the comments how you get creative with it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you found this valuable, share and save. Thank you.